want to talk to you about something that is near and dear to all our hearts. If you are a lawyer, you have encountered this before, and it is the billable hour versus fixed fee versus value versus how do I bill. And I get this asked so many times in the DM. People jump in my DM on LinkedIn. If you're on LinkedIn, you can find me at Patricia Haywood, ESQ. And people jump in my DM all the time and ask me, how do you go about billing and pricing your work and all that good stuff? Because I talk a lot about value pricing and fixed pricing and subscription pricing. That's the model that we follow. And why I try to stay away from billable hours. But I want to just incite something within you in this video, a new idea, an alternative idea, as we like to say, and that is this is my hypothesis. Lawyers are trading intellectual capital and not ours. That's it. And so, as with all hypotheses, you have to test it, see if it's true or not, if we need to disregard it. And the best way to test it is out in the real world. So that's my hypothesis to you, is that lawyers are trading intellectual capital and not hours. We're not trading our time. And so I didn't make this up. I got this from there is a book. Let me get it. So there is this wonderful book by Paul Dunn and Ronald Baker, and I listened to a podcast with Ronald Baker a lot of podcasts, not just one. And this book really helped to frame my idea. As you can see, lots of post-it notes, frame my idea around how I was going to go about doing my pricing in the business. Because when I started, I was doing the billable hours type of thing, and it didn't work well for me. For one, I am rubbish at recording time. Yes, I'll be stuck in some work and then remember, oh my gosh, like I was recording this time, I wasn't using the timer. I'm rubbish at it. And then also, as you know, if you work in the legal sector as a fee earner, is there's so much time that you just have to write off. You can't possibly bill the client for every single minute that you spend on the matter. You just have to write it off. And so that got me thinking that there just had to be another way, because this was not working for me. I was not billing clients properly, or I had to be writing off time. It was just not fruitful. There are whole more reasons that I'm not going into right now, that I'm sure that you've heard before and that you're experiencing as well. Okay, but I just knew it wasn't for me. So I decided that I needed to find a way out of this trap of billable hours. And for me, that I moved to value pricing, fixed fee, subscription service, which is a lot of what they talk about in this book. So I recommend you go out and buy this book. I am not sponsored by the authors of this book. I've been listening to them for a while. It's a pricey book, but it has a lot of information in there that is going to help you. Okay, maybe I'll do another video on the points that I got from this book. But from the author is one of the things that he talks about is the trading of intellectual capital. And I thought about it as a lawyer. I'm not trading my time, like I'm trading intellectual capital. And what is that? The fact is that I went to school for like many, many years to become a lawyer. I did my bachelor's of laws. I did my bar training and examination, which is a whole other couple of years of studying. And I did my master's, multiple. and I did my pupillage. I converted it to being a solicitor, so I did more studying and training. And so I have been gathering all this knowledge and experience over a long period of time, including all the years that I spent working as a lawyer, as a baby barrister, as a training solicitor, and just racking up all this time, that I have a breadth and a wealth of knowledge and experience within my little brain right here, that I can add a lot of value to people, to businesses, to transactions, to projects, to contracts. And so that's the capital that I bring. It's this intellectual capital that is further enhanced by the fact that I specialize in construction law. Now, you know that construction is not an easy industry to get into, to cement yourself in, and to excel in, especially as a lawyer, as a female lawyer, and as a black female lawyer. So I've gained so much experience working on sites as a quantity surveyor, commercial manager, commercial lead, commercial director, construction lawyer, that my intellectual capacity and the capital that I have within me just keeps expanding. And I'm always trying to expand and to learn more and to learn from other people, to read blogs, to see what people are saying, attend seminars, training, CPD, we call it continuing professional development. It never ends, okay? And that is what I'm trading. I am not trading the fact that I'm sat here for 1 hour working on your contract. That's not what you're paying me to do. What you are paying me to do is to pull on that breadth of experience and information and competency and all the good stuff that is bottled up inside of my little head here, to pull on that and to help you to achieve your goal, which is to get you from point A to point B. Point A might be, I want to acquire this deal, it's a construction deal. I want to acquire this contract that's, let's say, £20 million. So you're at point A with this aspiration to acquire, and you want to get to point B where you have a balanced construction contract, fit for purpose, representing the relationship that you want to have with the counterparty, and a contract that you can then administer. That's your point B. And so what you want from me as your construction lawyer is to be able to pull on the breadth of experience that I have to get you from aspiration to achievement of acquiring this deal. That's what you want from me. And in the middle, of course, there's a lot of redlining, back and forth negotiations, all that good stuff that's going on in the middle. But I'm only able to do all that good stuff in the middle because of my experience. Because I've been training for this day for like 20 years. I've literally been training for like 20 years, maybe over 20 years by now, for this day, for this hour, to sit down and help you with this contract. That's the intellectual capital that I bring as a lawyer, and that's what we all bring as lawyers, especially as specialist lawyers, people who have gone even deeper in a certain area of law, to be able to advise on that area of law. It's instead of being deep, instead of being wide, now we've gone deep. And it's that knowledge and experience that we leverage, that's our leverage, that we leverage to help our clients and customers to get them from point A, which is aspiration, to point B, which is achievement of, whatever that is, the deal. And so, as lawyers, we are trading that intellectual capital. I am not trading the 1 hour that I sat down to review your contract. I am trading that intellectual capital, that know how, that deep knowledge, that deep experience. That's what I'm trading. And I'm bringing something that's intangible. You can't really see it. I can't hold it in my hand. Sometimes I can't even show it to you. Like, sometimes you say, I will know it when I see it. I can't tell you what I want, but I know it when I see it. Sometimes we can't even put it into words for you. Like, I just know I know a thing. I know I know it. I know a thing, and that's enough, right? And so that's what we're bringing, that intangible thing to your deal to get you from point A to point B. So if I'm sat here for an hour, in your mind or in your client's mind, they're thinking, oh, I should only pay for that hour. Let's say your billable rate is $350, which is on the low end, right? £350 per hour. And so your client may think, or even you may think, that I'm just going to charge them $350 to review this contract for 1 hour's work. But that only happens if you believe that you are trading time. But think about all the years that you spent, all the price that you've paid. And we all pay a price. We all pay a price for everything that we do. Think about the price that you've paid to be where you are right now. All the things that you've learned, the journey you've taken, the specialist knowledge that you have, this immense capital, this capacity that you have to deal with this type of complex issue, legal issue. That you are in this place right now with the ability and the competency to look at this issue and know what to do with it. Oh my gosh, it lights me up. Like, think about it. All the stuff that you've done from the moment that you went and you did your studies to the point where you are right now has prepared you to be able to take up this matter, this issue, and to look at it and to know what to do, what to advise the client. That is no small feat. It is not. Because think about it, when you started as a lawyer, you would have probably taken up that matter and have no clue, no idea of how am I going to solve this. You probably have to go to like the partner in the firm or a senior counsel or someone who is a little bit higher in terms of the capacity and knowledge, because they've been practicing for a longer time to be able to help you. But you are no longer there. You are now here where you have the ability to take up this issue, this matter, and look at it and know what to advise a client. And that is your intellectual capital. It is not the 1 hour that you are going to spend. So are lawyers trading intellectual capital and not time? My view is that we're trading intellectual capital, especially for those of us who specialize, those of us who have gone deep and not wide. We have selected an area in which to build our expertise, and we have gained a lot of experience and knowledge over time in that area. It is my view that we're trading our intellectual capital, and therefore we need to price accordingly, and not for that 1 hour that you may spend looking at that contract. And that is what I do. I do not price for the time that it takes me to review that contract or to do that negotiation or whatever it is. I don't do billable hours for this very reason, because it is my view that I'm not trading in time. If that is the case, because I see it so often where clients will go to, let's say, a generalist firm, firms that claim they do construction law, but they do 10 million other things. The lawyer does 10 million. There is no specialist there in the firm to deal with construction, but they will go to that firm because some people believe a contract is a contract. Hey, if you believe that I don't believe that. I don't think that if you are, for example, a generalist contract lawyer that you can take up a construction contract and go run with it and cut deals. That's my view. If you have a different view, that's okay too. But that's my view. And so it is my view that that you can take that contract, you can take that deal and go to a lawyer, for example, a commercial lawyer, because construction is, like a category of commercial law, but not every commercial lawyer can do construction law. So I see it so often. Clients will go to a commercial lawyer, a contract lawyer, and they will go there because they're cheaper, for example, and they will come up with a contract that's just not fit for purpose. Like a couple months down the line, I see them come knocking back at my door because they need to do variations, the contract isn't working, they're not getting paid, things aren't clear, stuff is, interpretation is subjective, everything is about reasonable test, what's that, and so they come back to me to really help to focus and to distill all the lessons into a variation document, for example, or of clients who they may have a law firm generalist that they're working with, and they'll have to bring me in as a specialist to really help to center the issues in this deal to ensure that the contract is covering what it needs to cover, because it is not. And so what does that tell you? What does that tell you? Well, it tells me that if it was just time, that lawyer may be taking that same 1 hour to review the contract, to draft the contract. It may be the same 1 hour. 1 hour with them, 1 hour with me. But what's the difference? The difference is that they don't have the intellectual capital that I have on this matter. They don't have it. Because you see, they went wide and I went deep. And so it means, therefore, that I cannot price for 1 hour's work because I am not the same as them. It's just a fact. It's just a fact. Think about it. You go to a store to buy a normal handbag, and you pay, let's say, £100 for it, or £50 for it. But you go to Louis Vuitton, for example, I think it's Louis Vuitton, and you spend a couple £1,000 for it. Why? Because that handbag, the Louis Vuitton handbag, is not the same as the handbag in some department store down the road, department store brand handbag. It's not the same. It may take the same amount of time to make both handbags. I don't know. It may, right? But even so, you can't charge the same because the craftsmanship is different. The way we've seen those Louis Vuitton videos online when they show you how they're sewing up the bags, how they select the leather, the hide, how they do the tanning process, it's like the intellectual capital required to do a Louis Vuitton handbag is very different from department store handbag, and they cannot be the same price. It's the same way with legal services or any other services, consultancy services. I can't charge 1 hour for 1 hour as the law firm down the road that doesn't have the intellectual capital that I have. It's just not comparable. And so, in my view, lawyers are trading intellectual capital. We are not trading time. And that's the hypothesis that I've come up with, that I've tested, and that I believe, and it works. And based on that, I do my pricing in my business. So my challenge to you is to take that hypothesis, go do some research on it, go test it out in the real world, in your business, if you're a freelancer or you run a legal practice, and come back, drop me a comment below, let me know what know if it's true for you or not. It may not be true for you. It's not true for everybody. Okay? And let me know in the comments below, your views on it. But those are my views. So thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate you stopping by and listening to me ramble on. And if this video was good for you, please like, leave a comment, leave some love, and subscribe to the channel as I talk a lot about construction contracts